Up and running. Give you guys a few minutes to get gathered in. We've got another Thursday nighter. Little top 5 baits, talk a little fishing, talk a little whatever you guys want to talk. Alan Stroudy and Ashley, first ones dropping comments. Appreciate you guys. Mojo Fishing in the house. Heyo. Hey, we're going to do the giveaways tonight. The giveaways from the Smash Take video when I shot with Heath Taylor and he kicked my butt. The bluegill line throughs. We're going to be giving those away tonight on the live stream. Hey, brand new hoodies right here. Brand new hoodies. YourLakeFortGuide.com. Get them while they're hot. Tyler, I can't say your last name, Tyler, but appreciate you joining. How's the fishing been? Fishing been pretty good, pretty good. It's, you know, we've had some pretty stable weather, not too many drastic cold fronts, and it's been getting pretty good. So, Alistair, looking clean, looking clean. I appreciate it. Look, I got me a new 6 cent set. Hey, that too, if you guys want 6 cents, they got a little duck hunting hats. Y'all see that? Check that out. I guess 6 cents makes duck hunting hats now, but I liked it, so I got it. If you guys want any apparel, 6 cents does have some really good apparel as well. Be sure to enter the Your Lake Fort Guide code for 10% off anything that you want to buy from 6centslures.com. Somebody's asking pre-spawn question mark. So, yeah, they're in a pre-spawn mode. I'm catching pre-spawn fish. That's 100% what I focus on is pre-spawners. West Monroe, Louisiana in the house, coming to Fork on March 9th. We appreciate it, bud. Appreciate you joining us. Look forward to having you out here. Carl Renfro in the house. Appreciate you joining us. So, I guess let's get this thing started giving away some baits. How about that? You guys want to do a giveaway? All right, so we'll do Facebook first. And I need a number between 1 and 90. So first number to pop up between 1 and 90. CW Cater from Little Caney. Hey, Little Caney, that's one of my favorite winter holes up there in Little Caney. 55. 55. Really? You got to make me count to 55, bro? That's rough. All right. So, I guess I'm going to count to 55. 1, 2, 3. Bear with me, I'm counting. I'm counting the comments. I got to go to comment number 55. $55 is Richard Ellis. Richard Ellis, you are comment number 55 on Facebook. So Richard Ellis, hopefully you see this. Text me your address and I will have you a line through bluegill shipped to your door, brother. Appreciate that one. All right, so we can close that out. All right, now you guys try not to kill me on this one because YouTube's got a ridiculous amount of comments. Let's see. Pick a number between 1 and 155. Next number to pop up. Bobby Spang, CW Carter, Michael Edens. Appreciate all you guys. 13. Hey, I like 13. And guess what? We're going to go from the bottom up on this one just to kind of keep you guys on your toes. How about that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Look who it is. My boy Brett Wren at number 13. Brett Wren, who I know is watching this because he always watches. So Brett Wren, I might actually have your address, but text me your address just in case, Brett, and I will send you. Sometimes that old dip will get the best of you. You don't watch out. I will send you a line through Smash Tech bluegill swim baits as well. Is the East Texas Wi-Fi looks like it's holding up tonight? As far as I can tell, it's holding up, I think. So I think we're good. All right. That being said, let's talk about fishing. Fishing right now. Pretty stable weather is allowing for we're starting to be able to kind of predict our bites, kind of getting into a pattern being able to duplicate it in some different areas across the lake. It's getting a little better at a time. Pretty steady. We are catching some solid fish right now. Not a lot of just monsters every day. We're not catching just giants every single day right now, but we are getting some very, very quality bites, and they're getting more consistent, it seems like, as the days go by. For big bites, guys, we've had a lot of dirty water. We've had a lot of wind lately, stirred up. We've had a little bit of weather this year that started up, but you know, I still use shad drone and the shad colors, but that chartreuse and black back has been a real player for me the last week or so. Movement 80X, of course. You guys that watch all the time know, but for those that don't, that's a 6 cents Movement 80X. Then we're going back to this one, my old standby, 3/8 ounce white on white ChatterBait with a live magic shad. They're starting to bite that one again. The black and blue deal kind of popped for a minute for me, and then I went back to the white, and they started biting that, and so, you know, I believe in that one. That's my ultimate confidence bait right there, guys. And so if they're going to bite that, I'm going to throw it. And then my third most important tool, on those days when it gets really slicked off and calm, I like to take a 5-inch smash stick, black and blue, got it rigged, Texas rigged weightless, but that 5-inch stick bait, you can see the tops of these stumps just under the surface. I'm going to put that stick bait right next to that stump and just let it sit there. But on those really calm days, that deal has been a lifesaver for me, game changer. I mean, it really helps me on those calm, post-frontal tough days here lately. We've been getting some good bites on that stick bait. And then sometimes when I miss a bite on a moving bait, or maybe I just want to slow down and really pick an area apart, I've gotten several bites on a crankbait or something, I want to try and milk it for everything it's worth, I'm taking a 3/8, yeah, we'll learn how to talk in a minute. A 3/8 ounce version of the old black light colored 6 cents Divine Hybrid jig, trimming the skirt real nice and compact, and got a old black and blue smash crawl on there from Smash Tech. That smash crawl's really been the deal here lately. I normally go with a lot of rage crawl trailers, but that smash crawl has really been getting it done here lately. So that is my jig that I'm flipping in that shallow water, a 3/8 ounce black light colored 6 cents Divine Hybrid jig with the black and blue smash crawl. And then, once again, guys, not for me. You know, every once in a while we'll get a jerkbait biter too. But there's a lot of guys catching a lot of fish on the jerkbait still. This is a 6 cents Provoke 106X. Mega Bass is one that a lot of guys are using. Those two baits are exactly the same. This is the 6 cents is the exact same bait basically as the Mega. They're so close, it's ridiculous. And this one's a lot more affordable, especially when you put in the Year Like Before It Guide code and get 10% off on 6centslures.com. But the color's been Clown. Clown has been the #1 color, and then this one. In dirty water, I like to go to that gold chrome with a black back and the old bright orange belly. That's been the deal. There we go. There we go. Got a, that's our top 5 baits. How am I working the ChatterBait to get my bites? Honestly, right now, normally I go extremely slow this time of year, but right now it's just kind of been a medium retrieve. Just a medium retrieve on the ChatterBait has been the best thing. JD Sports says he caught fish on a black and blue jig today. Yes, sir. Best lures to fish in early March. Well, that ChatterBait's really good. That Movement 80X is still really good. That stick bait, all these things are. We're in the pre-spawn pattern, guys. And this pattern, that's probably the best part about it is this pattern doesn't change a lot. You know, you have to make little adjustments as to where they're located in some of these flats and stuff based on the weather that you're given that day, and sometimes within a day. But the general pattern, the general baits they'll bite stays pretty much the same until they get on beds. Now, once they get on beds, I'm going to start throwing a lot more wacky worms. I'm going to start throwing lightweight Texas rig creature baits. We're going to start looking for them on top with a frog and a buzz bait. So things will change once they get on beds. But right now, until we get on beds, the patterns are going to stay really, really similar. I cannot tell you anything on the new 6 cents bladed jig. I honestly don't have a lot of knowledge about it. That's not something that me and Casey have discussed yet, but I promise you as it gets here, I'll be all over it. Do I count the smash stick down or just let it sit for how long? Man, I fish that thing so slow. If I've made a good pitch and I got that bait falling right beside a stump, I'll let it fall all the way to the bottom, and I'll let it sit on the bottom on slack line for several seconds, 10, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, just dead sticking it almost. And then I'll just ease up on it and see if there's any tension. If there's not any tension, I'll make it hop up a couple times and then let it fall back down, and then I'll reel it in and go to the next stump. On fork, old dudes I fish with won't travel far enough north. Some been coming out of Coffee. Well, if they're in Coffee Creek, they're about as far north as you can go, I would imagine. What about 6 cents rods? I'm not going to be on the rod program with 6 cents because I'm on the rod program with limit rods, and I'm very, very happy with my rods and happy with limit fishing and limit rods. So I have no plans to change rod deals, and so I have not put the 6 cents rods in my hand, but I can say this. I've never known 6 cents lures to release a product that wasn't top end. So I have all the faith in the world that when they do the rods, they'll be right, because they just never let me down. Everything they produce is top quality. Average depth I'm catching my fish, most of my fish catches are coming from 1.5 feet to about 4 foot. I'm fishing very shallow. When should they get on beds on fork? Well, for me, the first time that we have either a full moon or a new moon and the water temp is in the very upper end of the 50s, even around 60 consistently, if you can get that water up around 58, 59 day in, day out, and you got a moon phase, a new moon or a full moon, some of them are going to start jumping on beds. That's going to happen. How am I fishing the Movement 80X without getting it fouled up with grass, just reeling it slow enough to tick the top, keep fouling up a lot? Yeah, so one thing you can do when you get in that super shallow stuff and that super shallow grass, that thick grass, is hold your rod tip up and barely turn that reel handle just fast enough where you feel that you can actually feel that Movement 80X slowly wobbling back and forth because it has such a wide shake. And you just slow that thing down where it just barely wobbles. And when you do that, it won't dig very far into the water column. It'll stay on top of it. Now, every once in a while, it will get watered up. When it does, I actually grab the rod with both hands, rip it extremely hard like that, it pops free, and I resume cranking. The big thing with that 6 cents Movement 80X is I'm hitting it off every single piece of wood that I can find. Somebody asked if I change out my bearings and my reels for better performance. I do not. Real-time rods can do that, and they make these air bearings that are phenomenal. I just never do that. I mean, I can cast, I've got my stuff set up. It's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's kind of my philosophy on that. Somebody asked if I'm throwing any glide baits this time of year. Right now, I'm not because of water clarity. Normally, yes, I would want to throw glide baits. But with the weather and the wind that we've had, the water is dirty enough that I'm not throwing glide baits. I like cleaner water for glide bait bite. What rod do I use for a Movement 80X? I use a 7.2 medium heavy Limit 5 series. $150 rod, and it works outstanding for that technique. And you can purchase those as well at yourlakeforkguide.com. Lipless crawl pattern might slow down. Yeah, the lipless bite, well, here's the deal, guys. The lipless bite hasn't necessarily slowed down. You can still catch fish on it. It's just that on this bait right here and on my ChatterBait, I catch a bigger size on average. And I catch some absolute monster bass on both of those baits. we're not getting a lot of bites right now. It's not a deal where we're going out and catching 20 or 30 fish in a day. It's a 10 bite a day type of thing, you know, is what it is. And when I'm getting fewer bites, I really like to try and focus and make every bite count as much as possible. So I go to my bigger fish techniques. The Movement 80X, the hard reaction bites that it gets, ChatterBait, same deal, the reaction bites that it gets. Catch a bigger size fish on average with potential to catch all-time monster bass. So that's why I spend more time focusing on these two than the lipless bait right now. If we were getting a lot more bites throughout the day, I would throw the lipless bait, because the lipless bait will catch a big fish, but it'll catch a lot of smaller fish. So when I'm only getting a limited number of bites, I really like to swing for them. You know, just try to hit it out the park. What's the best rod for a frog? My frog rod is Limit 5 Series 7.4 heavy action. Love it for a frog. It has been a phenomenal. It has just the right amount of tip to where you can feather that frog into some places. You can skip that frog, but being a 7.4 heavy, it's got all the backbone in the world to snatch that sucker up out of that cover. I mean, it is the perfect blend for a frog rod. It's a Limit 5 Series 7.4 heavy. Like I said, yourlakefortguide.com, you can order it there. JSJ, somebody asked me about how are the JSJ hard baits, swim baits, glide baits. The JSJ baits are very good. Very good. Do I scrape my rattle traps to dull the flash? I actually do not throw very many chrome colored rattle traps this time of year. The only time that I will throw a gold chrome trap on a very bright day right now. If you have like bluebird sky super bright, I like to throw the gold chrome. And no, I do not scrape it. On those days, I want that flash. But most of the time, the traps that I'm throwing do not have a chrome finish. They have a hard painted finish there. There's no flash to them. Top 3 or 4 colors on Movement 80X. So, Shad Drone, Chartreuse Blackback, Lava Truce, and Bone Reactor. Those are my favorite 4 colors on the Movement 80X. What chatterbait do I throw with that custom skirt? Well, that's actually some really old Z-Mans that I bought a bunch of because I had a 3/8 ounce blackhead and a gold blade. It had some ugly brown and amber skirt color, but I actually bought Z-Man chatterbaits, the old ones, that had a black 3/8 ounce head and a gold blade. Took that brown and amber skirt off, and I hand tied black and blue skirts. So those are the ones that I've made those adjustments on. Be sure when you order those, somebody's talking about they're going to order those on 6 cents. Be sure to enter the Your Lake Fort Guide code for 10% off on that order, bub, when you go to 6 cents. No, Brett, Brett's asking if he won a black and blue chatterbait. No, you do not win that black and blue chatterbait, but you did win a custom airbrush painted bluegill swim bait from Heath Taylor, line 3 swim bait from Smash Tech. The old ones are still on Tackle Warehouse. Awesome. Yeah, order them up, guys. For me, I'm good. So here's the heads of the ones that I'm using. I got one of the heads just happens to be laying here. These are the ones I'm using right now. That hook is smaller. I actually like that thinner wire hook because I like to reel set chatterbaits this time of year when they're biting it real slow like they do. But that's a 3/8 ounce whitehead, and you can see it's got the right snap on it. That's the one I'm throwing. All right, any more questions? Fire away. What's the best way to fish a line through swim bait? Best way to fish a line through swim bait. One thing that I can tell you, you don't want to go flinging them around. That plastic, those are big baits. That plastic weighs a lot, and you will tear them up if you go to slinging it real hard. So lob cast them out there, long cast on a good, 8-foot type of swim bait rod, and then point that rod at them and just creep it. Just point your rod directly at them and just keep it coming. Just slow and steady, just fast enough to keep that tail kicking. Somebody's asking, so for a tourney bait, the lipless crawl might be a good bait for numbers. Have your partner throw the chartreuse. Yes, that's absolutely 100% right. throw that lipless bait to catch you some unders on Lake Fork because we have that slot limit, and then throw that movement ADX trying to catch a big old over because we have already popped a couple of fish that we didn't put on the board, but I'm pretty sure they were overs. We popped a couple of those on that movement ADX already this year. So, going to be pre-fishing for Somerville this weekend. Going to be very rainy this weekend. Should I fish shallow or deep? I would say we should have a warming trend going in and going through this weekend, so I would be focusing shallow, honestly. Favorite size rod and what type of line on the movement ADX? So my rod, we answered this once, but we'll hit it again. My rod for the movement ADX is Limit 5 Series 7.2 medium heavy. For line, I like 17 to 20 pound fluorocarbon on my movement ADX. The reason why is on Lake Fork, big bass, big heavy cover. I don't want to take any chance. I'm banging that thing off a lot of stumps, so I'm putting a lot of abuse on that line. So I want to make sure that I have a good, big, strong line to hold up in that situation. Do I always fish braid with a chatterbait? In East Texas, yes. If I was fishing somewhere where there was no grass, I'd probably throw it on fluoro, 17 fluoro, something like that. Fishing it where I fish it, we're always around grass, and that braid just makes it so much easier to work that bait through that grass effortlessly, where it just kind of slides out. You don't have to really jerk on it to get it out. You can just kind of snap your reel handle, that bait will just ease on out of there and keep going. So yeah, I always use braid around here. Yeah, absolutely. I trim the weed guard on my jigs. If you look at this one right here, I trim this one. So what I want is right there. I need to actually trim that one just a little closer. If you look right there, I want this to be even with the barb. See how this one's, an 1/8 of an inch past the barb, so I need to trim about 1/8 inch off that weed guard. And guys, people think, if you trim your weed guard, it'll hang up more. That's actually the opposite. The shorter you trim this weed guard, the stiffer it gets. I like to keep it even with the barb. I don't want to go any shorter than that, but trimming it shorter actually makes that weed guard stiffer, which makes this a more weedless bait. What knot on fluoro? Homer's circle knot. You can look that up on the interweb, but the Homer circle knot is my fluorocarbon knot. Tournament on Fork in early April, I need tips. Well, I can tell you this, in early April, they'll be spawning. So sight fishing would probably be your best bet. I love sight fishing for tournament fishing because I can see what size fish I'm fishing for before I ever start fishing for them. I can hand pick the fish I want to try and target, and that way I don't waste any time. I don't waste any fish catches. I'm not catching fish that are too small or in the slot or whatever. I know exactly what I'm looking at, and I can specifically target the 5 bites that I need for that day. So sight fishing is how I go about it whenever that is available to me for a tournament. Any tips for deep, clear lakes? Going to be 45 degrees and mostly sunny. If that's air temp, that's kind of to be expected. But if the water temp's 45 degrees, I'm going to tell you right now what I would do. Three things that I would have in my hand would be a very light jig, a finesse type of jig. But really the most important two would be a suspending jerkbait, a deeper diving suspending jerkbait that'll get around 8 foot or something like that, and an Alabama rig. An Alabama rig in clear, cold water is very, very good. All right. Well, hey, Guide in the Graph map chip. If you guys haven't seen that, please research it. Check it out on my website. It is a product that I have developed where you can actually, if you're coming to Lake Fork, you can take this map chip, plug it into your graph. It will bring up waypoints that I have personally selected for this time period right now. It changes every 2 months, so there's new waypoints every 2 months. But it's waypoints that I've selected and I've built. Put them in your graph. You select that waypoint, open it up, and there's a description of what that area is. Is it a creek channel bend? Is it offshore structure, main lake point, road bed? Is it a grass flat? What is it? It tells you that. And then it tells you the baits that I use to fish it as well. So just a great tool. Can help cut the learning curve on Lake Fork faster than anything else. So if you haven't seen that yet, please check it out. I really feel really good about the product we put out. I think we did a really good job on it. So check that thing out if you're interested. Get it. And let me know what you guys think of it. Any tips for Palestine this time of year, or is it same patterns for it? So all these super shallow water pre-spawn patterns that we're talking about, Palestine is known for those. It happens in an even bigger and earlier way on Palestine. It's kind of famous for that. And so the patterns can be the same. There's just more of them. And those fish are more apt to be in those patterns. You know, we're dividing our fish on fork right now. We always do because the lake has so much variety. We have fish shallow, we have fish mid, we have fish deep right now. On Palestine, the majority of the tournaments will be won in the dirt shallow water this time of year. One thing about that lake, big bladed spinner baits have always traditionally been a very big player on Palestine this time of year. Carl Renfro, is it set up for Garmin yet? Man, no. You know what? When I get off here, I'm making a phone call to my guy that actually formats the chips for me, and we're going to have that discussion because we should be up for Garmin any day now. Lane Seaman in the house. Appreciate it, bud. Hitting Ray Bob in the AM. Man, I don't know nothing about Ray Bob. I wish I could help you more. I've never been on the old Ray Roberts, so I don't really know where I would start. I mean, some of these shallow flat areas on these warming trends, I would be looking for some of those. I'd be looking for creek channel bends, but if I was just to start breaking down the map, but somebody said they love the Moga vid, the old Mogs, OZW and the Mogas. If you don't know what Mogas are, you need to watch Monday's video. That's male yoga pants, and yes, somebody wore them on my boat because they lost the challenge. Alrighty. Hey, a couple other things, guys. On the YourLakeFortGuide.com website, if you haven't checked it out yet, go check out the online store, Shop My Gear tab on YourLakeFortGuide.com. We got limit rods. We got Smash Tech baits. We got Guide and the Graph map chips. We got apparel, hoodies, shirts, all kinds of stuff there for you to check out. So be sure you give that a look for me if you would. And, hey, place an order if you don't mind. So, all right. Well, hey, any last questions, pop them in right now. Otherwise, we're fixing to wrap this thing up. I'll give it just a couple more minutes. We got the Guides tournament coming up a week from Saturday, February the 10th. Big Guides tournament on Lake Fork where guides fish with customers against each other. Fish Vibes, man, I forgot to get with you. Oh, Fish Vibes is on here. We were going to go film together. Because he has an awesome tournament story that I want to get on camera for you guys, and I have neglected to call him. Man, brother, I'm so busy right now, but I will do my very best to get with you very soon. Who won the giveaway? Richard Ellis won the Facebook, and Brett Wren won the YouTube giveaway. Yep. All right, well, hey, I guess that's going to do it for this week. You guys get after it, man. It's that time of year. Start terrorizing them bass because there's going to be more and more big girls pulling up there ready to eat day by day. There's more and more arriving every day. So get out there and get after them. Get those knots tied good. Fish of a lifetime might be around your corner. Hopefully we can help you here on this channel and give you some advice that may help you catch some, a few bigger fish. And I appreciate everything you guys do for me. You guys are awesome. Y'all are the best audience I could ever imagine having. So beyond all expectations. So thank y'all so much for participating in the community. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think of everything we got going on. And appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time right here on Your Lake Fork Guide.